Hello everybody, happy Sunday. Sunday means meal prep day. So first of all, I just want to say thank you to those of you that subscribed to him. That made him so happy. He was running around squealing this morning because he had 12 subscribers. He's so cute. Now let's jump into meal prep. So today, as always, a Brawling Notebook. My list is huge. What gets accomplished, we will see. It is already, like I said, or I don't know if I did say, but it's about 10:30. And Luke just got up. I got to make him some breakfast real quick. And then I will end up jumping on this. So I want to make some cocktail meatballs with a Polynesian sauce. With the leftover chicken that I have in the fridge already from the other night, the barbecue chicken. And I made bacon and I made sausage already yesterday. I went ahead and cooked it all up. I want to make some barbecue chicken wraps, some bacon, egg, and cheese burritos, and some sausage, egg, and cheese burritos. And get all those into the freezer. That way I just have them for Charles' lunch, breakfast, Jake wants one, whatever, I've got them. And make some blueberry muffins, white chocolate macadamia nut cookies. I'm going to bake some for today. And freeze a bunch of the dough. So I've got them just ready when I want to throw in a couple cookies. Some chocolate chip cookies, same thing. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to make some chicken breasts and I'm going to season them differently, each one, and bake them. And that is for me so that I have them to eat throughout the week on salads or however I want to eat them. And just have a little bit something different going on. I'm going to boil some potatoes, because I want those in the fridge so that I can make potato salad, twice baked potatoes, home fries, whatever I want to make. So I'm only going to put about 8 potatoes in because not a whole lot. And boil some eggs so that I have them for snacks and to make like deviled eggs or to add to potato salad or tuna salad or whatever I'm making. I soaked a whole bunch of beans last night, so I'm going to make some homemade refried beans, and I'm going to separate those into containers, freeze some, they freeze fabulous, and leave some out for the girls now. I do want to make a whole chicken, and that way I'm just going to peel the meat off the bones so that I have the chickens ready, or the chicken ready, and then with the carcass I want to make some chicken broth so that I have some chicken broth for the week. Vegetarian black bean enchilada stack is a recipe that I saw. It's just put it together, assemble it, and put it in the freezer for a freezer casserole ready to go for the girls. A spinach, Parmesan, and lemon penne. That is the same. It's a freezer meal, so I'm just going to assemble it and pop it into the freezer. A shrimp and sausage sheet pan. We're actually going to eat that for dinner tonight, and the girls are going to have the leftover lasagna from last night. Homemade donuts, we're going to give it a go, and homemade hot pretzel bites, we're going to give those a go. Then I have some snacky kind of stuff. I'm going to make a crock pot Philly cheesesteak, but again, that is just, I'm going to assemble it and pop it into the freezer so that I have it ready to go. I also, if I have time, I'm going to make morning glory muffins, a glazed strawberry bread, peanut butter Cheerio bars, and a keto pizza dip. Now, that being said, that is a ton to do, but a lot of it I'm already prepared for, or it's just assemble it and pop it in the freezer. So we will see what I get done with the actual making of stuff. But we're going to go down and we're going to start with the donuts and the pretzels, because those have to rise. So I want to go in and get those going and set them aside, and then we can move on to the other stuff. Okay, we are going to do donuts first. Here's what we do.
So the first thing that you're going to want to do is take your water, and you want that water to be slightly warm, and you're going to add your yeast to that, stir it up, and let that sit until it gets nice and foamy. Takes about 5 minutes.
In a rage, glowing eyes in a daze, turning around in a hurry.
Next, we're going to grab our milk, and we're going to put that in the microwave for 2 to 3 minutes. You want it pretty warm so that it will melt the shortening. You're going to add the milk and shortening together in a bowl and stir it until that is melted.
It's the work of one little man. I'm fading out from the story. Am I a passionate man?
And then you want to add your salt, cinnamon, and nutmeg.
Fading out from the story. Am I a passionate man? Hanging on to the glory. Day by day if I can.
Stir that all up until it's well combined, and then you're going to add in your eggs. Once that is all stirred up and nicely mixed together, you're going to add your yeast mixture.
Those cold nights in December and the sound of the falling snow, the fireplace warming us, the VHS movie box.
And then you're going to start adding your flour 2 cups at a time. I'm using a 1/2 cup measuring cup, so that's why it looks like I'm adding 4 cups. You do not want your dough to be very stiff. You want it to still be sticky. But you're going to add enough flour until you can work with it.
A pair of jeans and a dusty shirt. We didn't have a dime. No, you and me were poor as dirt. All we had was time. Hey, do you remember? Sneak it out in the night. Me playing the Fender and you singing, oh, it's alright. Beating hearts full of lust. Shiny stars over us. Just a dream guiding us, and not a single cloud in the sky. If I could go back in time, I'd pack my bags right now. If I could play back my life, I wouldn't think twice. A pair of jeans and a dusty shirt. We didn't have a dime. No, you and me were poor as dirt. All we had was time. All we had was time.
And then you want to put a little bit of olive oil in a bowl, enough to lightly coat the bowl, and put your dough in it. Then you are going to cover it and let your dough rise until double in size.
Next we're going to make the hot pretzel bites. I've never made either one of these before, so I'm not sure about these donuts. We'll see. Fingers crossed they turn out good. Definitely had to use a lot more flour than what the recipe was calling for, so fingers crossed. So now let's go to the hot pretzel bites. Here's what we do.
You're going to start with some warm water again, and your salt and stir that up real good.
No, you and me were porous stirred,
And then you want to add your yeast and let that sit until it gets nice and bubbly.
all we had was time.
Okay, so while I'm waiting for that to bubble up and do its thing, I went ahead and whisked together a dozen eggs in here with some heavy cream, some salt and pepper. I'm gonna pop that in the oven to make my baked eggs part for all the breakfast sandwiches.
And then we're going to add melted butter, our flour,
I get a little bit
and we're going to start stirring that up.
My thoughts are too big. Can I get some comfort, please?
And you're just going to keep mixing it up until the dough pulls away from the bowl. It takes about 3 minutes of kneading.
I'm like a river that's
Drizzle a little olive oil and just roll your dough around so that it gets a nice light coating all over it. Transfer it to another bowl and let it rise.
Okay, so next we're gonna make the refried beans. So I'll show you how I put that together real quick. These beans have been soaking overnight in a big pot of water. Also, I am using my pressure cooker, but I have made these many, many, many times on, or in my crock pot. You just cook them on high for about 6 hours and then bump it down to low for like the last 1 or 2. And then stir them up. That's it. Mash them up, however you want to do. This is just a way quicker way to do it. But both ways turn out fabulous.
I'm going to start just adding my beans that I have soaked. And then I do not measure anything, sorry about that, for this recipe. You definitely just adjust this to your taste. I like to add quite a bit of cumin,
on the beach with the stars as our lighters, and
chili powder,
problems in the flame. Throw our
liquid smoke,
in the flame. We fell
soy
down
sauce,
to the bottom, so bottom up, please. We're gonna get over this.
sriracha.
I see the smoke in the
That is a vegetable bouillon. You could use bouillon cubes if you don't have bouillon paste. Garlic. A little cinnamon. And I also would like to add a little bit of nutmeg. A can of Rotel. This is just Aldi brand. And then you put in enough hot water to cover the beans and stir it all around. And then I put that on my pressure cooker for 30 minutes.
Okay, now the eggs are done, so I'm gonna go on and throw together the barbecue wraps, the sausage, egg, and cheese, and the bacon, egg, and cheese burritos. I'm gonna do that real quick.
And throw our problems in the flame. Throw our problems in the flame. And throw our problems in the flames. Ooh, throw our problems in the flame. I get a little bit breathless. My thoughts are too big. Yesterday, there was sun and there was rain, beauty in the mundane. And as the light startled our eyes, we let go of disguise. There's something in the air and a sparkly shimmer on our skin, restoring everything within. Oh, dreamy, breezy we go.
Okay, now that's done, so real quick I'm gonna throw the potatoes and the eggs on and get those boiling. So I've got those ready, and then we're gonna jump into making blueberry muffins.
I'm starting with flour, and then I'm going to add sugar, baking powder, oil, milk. It calls for 1/4 cup of oil and 3/4 cup of milk, so I just put them both in a 1 cup measure. So that's why you just see 1 cup go in. An egg, beaten, mix that all up. And then I added just a splash more milk and fresh blueberries. If you want, you can toss your blueberries with flour, but I don't feel that it is necessary. A little bit of lemon zest. Fold that in. Spray your muffin tin and evenly put it in 12 muffins. And then I like to top mine with some more blueberries. And then I'm going to make the crumb topping. I just start with some melted butter. Again, I do not measure this. Brown sugar, lemon zest, and then flour. And you're just going to add a little flour, mix it up, but when you mix it, you want to just kind of pinch and pull because you want it to stay in crumbles. I put it in a bowl so that it would be a little easier for you to see. And then add more flour.
We had our on and off, baby. Sometimes we were tight,
and you will feel it start to just turn into little crumbles. And that's your crumb topping. Again, just kind of pinching like if it was a claw in one of those claw machines. And then sprinkle on top of each of your muffins and bake those in the oven until golden brown.
Okay, so next I'm going to go on and do the chicken breasts and get those in the oven. So here's how I'm making those.
I'm out of patience. Come out and say it, that it's over now, so I can stop chasing.
Okay, perfect timing. My first battery died. I usually go through about 3 batteries. And look, Kate said, I think that's rising in there. So donut dough is ready and pretzel dough is ready. So I'm gonna halt everything else and move into these two real quick. I'm gonna cover back up the pretzels and I'm gonna work with the donuts, because what I need to do now is I'm gonna punch it down and then We're going to roll it out, cut it into shapes, and then it rises again.
Lightly flour your surface. Punch down the dough.
Sometimes we were smooth and sometimes out of control. Gotta learn just
And then lightly flour the top of the dough. I just pinched off a chunk. It was easier to work in small batches. And put a little flour on your rolling pin and roll it out to 1 inch thick. Cut it with little circles. I just use circle cookie cutters because I don't have a donut cutter. Then I used a smaller circle to cut out the middle. Put those on a baking sheet, cover them, and let them rise until double.
So I can stop chasing.
Okay, now those are rising. Cut them out, laid them on the pan, covered them, and put them over to rise. Now we're going to do the pretzel bites real quick.
Start by punching down the pretzel dough. And then I divided it into 5 sections. Roll it out into a rope and cut it with scissors into little pieces.
Sometimes we were tight, and sometimes ocean.
And then I made the egg wash. It's 1 egg with a little bit of water and beat it. And then in another bowl, add your salt.
Move on without you.
Then you have boiling water with baking soda. You boil them for about 30 seconds. And that helps give that hard coating that pretzels have around the outside. Dip it in the egg wash. And then I would not dip it like I did here in the salt. I would just sprinkle it with salt on the top. And then you pop it in the oven and bake it.
Okay, so now while those are baking real quick, it's time to finish the beans because those are done. So we're just gonna use our immersion blender and get them good and mushed up. You can just use an old-fashioned bean masher if you want.
And here are the pretzel bites all done. And I'm just going to put a little melted butter on top and they are good to go. They were so delicious, a huge hit.
Leave those hurting knees behind.
Alright, so next, sorry that's down a little bit low. Next I'm going to go on and make the white chocolate macadamia nut cookies, the cookie dough. You hear Charles hammering in the basement. He's working down there. So let's hop on that.
Start by creaming your sugars and butters together.
Many more will come, many more under the sun. Pack your finest suit. We will keep it steady.
Add your vanilla.
We will be the confetti. If we fail, we just
And your eggs. Then add your flour, cornstarch, baking soda, baking powder,
new beginnings, new pride, let your spirit shine.
and mix that all up. Then add your white chocolate chips and your macadamia nuts. And then I just spread. And then I just put that on a cookie sheet and filled it up completely and then put it in the freezer to get good and hard.
Okay, next I'm going to do the shrimp and sausage Old Bay seasoned little dish. Basically, I'm just putting shrimp and sausage in there, sprinkling Old Bay seasoning, and that's pretty much it, and popping it in to the oven.
Cause nothing can hold us back. Oh, nothing can take us down. We stand joined. Many more come on, many more under the sun. Pack your finest suit.
Alright, so the donuts are done rising, so it's time to get our oil heated up and get ready to make these donuts.
Here I am just using a candy thermometer so that I can see when it reaches 350 degrees.
Now it also says that you can use your air fryer, but that the consistency won't be the same as a really, soft, gooey donut. Here's what the donuts look like right now when I lift them. Look at that. Yes. Looking gorgeous. The donut holes, the donuts, all of it. Fabulous looking. Okay, so next all I did is I took one of my cooling racks and I put it over top of a pan, because right away we're going to dip it in icing that we're about to make and then let the excess all drip off.
Add your powdered sugar, water, and vanilla. Again, I did not measure. If you need it to be a little thinner, add a little more water, or thick, add a little more powdered sugar. A little water goes a long way when making this kind of icing, though. Keep that in mind. Now our temperature is right and 350 degrees, so I'm going to drop in the donuts. Let them cook for just a little bit on each side until they're good and brown. Then you want to flip it so that both sides get nice and golden brown. Then while they're still hot, dip them in the icing, roll it around in the icing, and put it on the cooling rack so that the excess icing can drip. And I know that my shirt is covered in flour. That is every time that I do a lot of baking, I get covered in flour and sugar.
And here is the sausage and shrimp bake. The donuts, these are chocolate and regular. Okay, it is 5 o'clock and I am beat. I've been non-stop at this. So, I still need to make the whole chicken in the chicken broth, the vegetarian black bean enchilada bake stack, spinach parmesan and lemon penne, and cocktail meatballs. I'm going to do all of that first thing in the morning, and then I'll roll all this together. The other stuff that I wrote down for extras in case I had time. Oh, I always do that. I bought off so much more than I can chew. The morning glory morning glory muffins, glazed strawberry bread, peanut butter Cheerio bars, keto pizza dip. Those will happen through the week. Possibly. Or not. I don't know. Right now I'm tired. So, that's where I'm at so far. And I'll see all of you in the morning when I wrap this up. And I should point out real quick, I took my hair out of my braid, that the girls are down doing all the cleaning of the kitchen so that I have a clean kitchen to start on tomorrow. And people have asked me, why don't the girls help me with meal prep days? Honestly, I want everybody out of the way. What I do is I take a break here and there and I say, all right, girls, come clean up. And they clean up the kitchen, and then I can get back to it. And then I'll tell him again. All right, let me regroup, let me rethink what my next steps are. You guys pick up the kitchen for me. So that's how it goes, and then they help with Luke and help do things like that. So that's how meal prep day goes. All right, now I'm really getting off of here for the night. I'm gonna make Charles come up soon and just enjoy the rest of the evening. So I'll see you guys tomorrow morning when I start back up. Hello everybody, happy Monday. So this is part 2 of meal prep. I did it for 6 hours yesterday. I didn't get nearly all done that I wanted to do. As you can know, I just got too tired, as you know. So I won't make this intro long, just a quick, it's the next day. So let's get started. At 6 o'clock this morning, I put in the chicken into the pressure cooker, the whole chicken. So I have now taken that out, and I'm gonna add some water and vegetables to this right here, what's left of that, which all I did was throw a little wine and water in with the chicken. Here's the chicken. I'm gonna get all the stuff off, and I'm gonna put the carcass back in. And that way I've got a full-blown thing of chicken broth. And I'll let that cook for like a half hour. Also, you are gonna see clothes all throughout my house today as I am doing laundry. As you see, our dryer is down again. Those of you that have been with us for a while, Charles just fixed it in December. And what do? It's down again. So he's got to come home from work today and fix my dryer. But until then, I have clothes just literally laying everywhere, all over the kitchen. They're hanging. They're everywhere. So that way they can dry. All right, so I'm gonna throw the stuff for this chicken broth real quick, and then we are gonna go into making the cocktail meatballs and the sauce that goes with that. Okay, so here we go. This is what I got chicken-wise, and now then I'll put that in the freezer. It's just shredded chicken. I can have barbecue. I can turn it into ranch chicken tacos, barbecue chicken sandwiches. There's so much I could do with shredded chicken. Chicken pot pies, chicken and dumplings, list goes on and on. So those are handy to have and just put in the freezer. Then over here, I just took the tops off all the carrots and the tops off the celery that nobody likes, and an onion and a little garlic pepper, or garlic powder, sorry. And I threw that all in here along with more water, and all the chicken skin and bones are in here. And I'm going to go on and cook this for about a half hour. And then I will have my chicken broth ready to go into my freezer.
Start with your eggs, milk, dried parsley, mustard powder, and salt and pepper. Mix that all up and pour over your hamburger. Add your breadcrumbs, and then use your hands and mix until all mixed up. And then roll into small meatballs and bake in the oven.
I'm gonna be someone else. I'm gonna be myself. I'm gonna be someone else. I'm gonna skip my breaks. I'm gonna make mistakes. I'm gonna skip my breaks. I'm gonna make mistakes. Try not to hold me down. Feel alive.
Okay, so while those are in the oven cooking, we're going to make the sauce. I'm gonna make a Polynesian sauce to go over half of them. And I'm gonna toss that in the sauce and freeze it like that. Or actually I might go on and just let them have that for dinner tonight. And then the other half of the meatballs I'm gonna freeze because I have them then to make Swedish meatballs, or I can make spaghetti and meatballs, or just whip up another sauce and throw it with the meatballs, however I want to do it. So let's make the Polynesian sauce.
Take a can of pineapple chunks and drain out the juice. And add water to make whatever is left equal 1 cup. Pour that into your saucepan. And then you're going to add ketchup, vinegar,
When the wind blows and the windows are closing, you let the world know what has been has been.
cornstarch,
There's no use
brown sugar,
back,
soy sauce,
wishing back.
and a little bit of crushed red peppers. Mix that all up and put it on the stove.
Cutting rice
We're going
and
to
chopping
constantly stir and cook it until it
wood.
thickens to be the
Sipping
consistency
coffee
of
under the
syrup.
apple tree. It's gentlemanly. Well, you're a good man, quite the best man, a real fine man. When the wind blows and the windows are closing, you let the world know that what has been has been.
Okay, so y'all, my poor husband. Now my garbage disposal quit working. So now he's going to have to fix my garbage disposal too. I feel so bad for him. It's like something always is going wrong. He always has to fix it. I know it's just part of being a large family. Just is. He's such a hardworking man. Yeah, it just is. Okay, we have 2 things left to make. So those are almost done, and I'm gonna pull those out here in a minute. Then we're gonna make the spinach, Parmesan, and lemon penne. That is a freezer meal. And we're going to make the vegetarian black bean enchilada stack. That is also a freezer meal. So let's jump on that. I'm gonna pull these meatballs out and show you those. And like I said, I'll throw some in the sauce and let that cool so I can get it in the freezer. And the other meatballs I'm just gonna put in the freezer like that. Okay, so here we go. There they are in the sauce and they're cooling off. It's like a very tangy, ketchup-y sauce. It's not super sweet, very tangy. So that is going to cool. And here are the rest of the meatballs that are also just gonna cool so I can get them in the freezer. Okay, so now let's go on and start with the enchilada bake. We'll do that one first. Here's what we need to do.
Start with some olive oil in your pan. Then add your peppers, onions, and saute those.
See the beautiful world around, wanna see it now.
Add garlic powder.
Bags and get in that car.
Again, I don't measure, I just
Leave a little
add it.
road and we'll drive real far. Let's get out
Cumin,
and leave this city. Let's drive to the open air. Yeah, the countryside is so
chili powder,
with the wind blowing in your hair. We can look back someday. Baby, don't you
oregano,
that we only get one life? I wanna make it count, honey. Come on now and take my hand.
nutmeg,
Hey, darling, I love it when it's me and
stir that all up.
on the road with a couple of tunes in.
And then we're going to add can of black beans that have been rinsed and drained,
Hey, darling, you know we're gonna have
can of, or a half a can of green chilies,
when the stars are bright.
a can of corn that was drained, and a can of diced tomatoes that was drained. Stir that all up.
And we'll drive real far.
Add the juice of 1 lemon.
Let's get
1 lime.
leave this city. Let's drive to the open air. Yeah, the countryside is
Salt
so
and pepper.
pretty, with the wind blowing in your hair. We can look back someday. Baby, don't you understand that we only get one life? I wanna make it count, honey. Come on now and take my hand.
Now we're ready to assemble our dish. Start with corn tortillas. First, spray your pan. Add a layer of the corn tortillas,
Let's drive to the open.
then a layer of our bean mixture we just made,
Countryside is so pretty, with the wind blowing in.
a layer of Mexican cheese,
Can look back someday. Baby, don't you understand that we only get one life? I wanna make it count, honey. Come on now and take my hand. Yeah, we only get one life. I wanna make it count, honey.
and repeat 3 times. Then you want to end with a layer of the corn tortillas. Add salsa from a jar and cover with cheese. Then this goes in the freezer until ready to bake.
I've been in your waters, been knocking at your.
Okay, so next is the lemon spinach parmesan penne, and I did forget there is one more after that, and that is the what was it called? The crock pot Philly cheesesteak. That really is just throwing stuff in a bag, though. There's nothing to it, so we'll put that together real quick too. And then I'm finally done. So let's go on and jump into this spinach parmesan lemon penne. Here's what we do.
Start by boiling your pasta. Dice your onions, or use the handy onion chopper that I use. Heat a little olive oil in a pan. Saute the onions. Add a little salt and pepper to help sweat the onions. And then we're going to add our flour and garlic. We want to stir it all around and really coat all the onions with the flour. And let the flour cook slightly so that it gets slightly browned. Then add our milk and our vegetable stock. If you are not wanting this to be a vegetarian dish, you could always add some chicken to this, would be really good, or shrimp. You're going to just keep stirring that constantly until it is nice and thickened like a gravy. And then remove it from the heat. Add a cup of your Parmesan cheese. Once your cheese is all melted, you're going to add your nutmeg, salt and pepper, a little bit of lemon juice,
we say come, what of a maid would join forces today? Oh no, half isn't enough.
and then you're going to add your noodles, and I'm adding a block of frozen spinach that I thawed. Stir that up really good.
You know what they say, there are no kingdoms without rulers. Are you ready for change? We could be kings and queens every day. On the low, we are brave. Yes, even
And now that's ready to go. So we're going to pour that into our dish that we have ready for the freezer.
start the race. We should be kings and queens every day.
And then top it with panko breadcrumbs, or just breadcrumbs is fine too.
We should be kings and queens
And some more Parmesan cheese. Cover it and put it in the freezer until you're ready to bake it.
I never thought that I would be the one who turned you down and you disagree. We've been on and off, you were never mine to keep.
All right, so one last thing, and that is the Philly cheesesteak chicken, that crock pot meal that just goes in a freezer bag. So let's assemble that real quick, and then that just gets thrown into the freezer. Super easy.
In a bag, I'm just putting frozen chicken breasts that I already have from the freezer because it's just going back in the freezer.
Well, you left me without even saying
And then the rest of the bag of the frozen peppers and
to
onions.
say you love me back.
Garlic,
I fell in love with you and tried my best
Salt and pepper.
to make you love me. And now that you say you want me, oh,
and then a cup of chicken broth. I'm using the chicken broth that I just made, and a tablespoon of cornstarch. Stir that up, and then put that in the bag. And then I am also going to freeze the provolone cheese that I'm going to also need for this recipe.
yes, I fell in love with
Try and get all the air out when you seal your bag.
my best to make you love me. And now that you say you want me, oh.
Okay, so here it is. Just ignore the clothes laying everywhere. Like I said, working on that. Our dryer being broke. So what we just made, here it is, the Philly chicken crock pot freezer meal. The other two the other two freezer meals that we just made that are vegetarian. 3 of the beans, and this is all that's left of that one. The kids already got into them. I already had those in the freezer. 1 of the plain meatballs, 1 of the Polynesian, the 3 different chicken breasts that were seasoned differently. There is some of this shrimp and sausage left. 2 shredded chickens. I did not get the chicken broth together yet. I still have to strain that and do that, but hopefully I'll get about 3 containers of that. This is what's left of the donuts. They've been chowing on them. Boiled eggs, our potatoes, blueberry muffins, already put them in the freezer, the hot pretzel bites, the cookie dough back there. And this is the sausage, egg, and cheese, breakfast burritos, bacon, egg, and cheese down there, and then the barbecue chicken are there. So that's everything. It sure feels like we made more than that, but that's everything that we made for our meal prep this week. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you tomorrow for a 2 for Tuesday with Tiffany, but that's what we got so far. Alright, bye everybody.